Commissioner Gordon, Bane has escaped.
Underneath all the noise, a quiet truth brews in the shadows. Many stumble, break, collapse, reduced to mere fragments of their past selves. The world looks on, waiting, expecting those fragments to dissolve into nothing. But the ones who rise from the ashes, they're not the same. No, they're something else entirely. Recast, forged in the relentless fire of resistance. People think this is about survival, about just making it through. They're wrong. It's about becoming something beyond survival, something beyond what we were. And that journey, that change, leaves scars no one sees. It leaves marks etched deeper than flesh, marks that burn not with pain, but with a silent, relentless power. Those scars, they're not badges of honor, not medals to flaunt, they're reminders. They tell us of a world that tried again and again to drag us down. Every wound, every bruise, every night that seemed endless. They're all there, written on our bones, whispering a language only the broken understand. And we carry them not as weights, but as keys. Keys to a strength that few even know exists. Because this world has a way of making strength look like something soft, something quiet. But real strength is raw. It's jagged. It doesn't fit neatly into boxes or wear a pleasant face. There's a moment, though, when you realize what's happening, when the struggle becomes more than just a fight to stay upright. It morphs into something primal, something visceral. The ones who know what it means to overcome, they feel it deep inside. It's that gnawing realization that this fight isn't about winning or losing. It's about proving to the darkness that even when it has its hands around your throat, there's something inside that refuses to break, that defies, that mocks the abyss, laughing not because it's unafraid, but because it's learned fear's language and now speaks it fluently. And then, of course, there are those who think they understand, the ones who stand on the sidelines, safe in their little bubbles, shouting empty words of courage. They think struggle can be dressed up with slogans, wrapped in pretty speeches, but they don't know what it means to be hunted by shadows, to walk with despair as your only companion. They don't know what it's like to face a mirror, to see a face staring back at you that's both familiar and alien. This isn't about looking strong, it's about understanding that strength looks ugly, twisted, like a scar that never healed right, but still throbs with the pulse of life. Overcoming. What a gentle word for such a brutal reality. To overcome means to claw your way out of pits dug deeper than your nightmares. It means bearing the weight of worlds no one else will ever know. And when you stand there at the edge, you realize that this isn't about being whole. No, those who are whole are the ones who never faced the true crucible. This is about rising not as you were, but as something else. Something unrecognizable, terrifying. A force that knows what it is, because it's lost itself 1,000 times and found its way back each time. It's funny, isn't it? They say the hardest battles make the strongest warriors. But what do they know of real battles? Real battles aren't waged in glory or grandeur. They're fought in silence, in solitude, in the dead of night with no one watching. These aren't victories you celebrate. They're victories that leave you staring into the void, wondering what's left of you, wondering if the part that survived is even you at all. And perhaps that's the real secret. They never told you that overcoming changes you in ways that can never be undone. The irony, of course, is that we were never meant to come out of this hole. To overcome is to let go of parts of ourselves, to shed skins, memories, hopes, until what remains is something raw, something feral. We become wolves that once walked as lambs. And maybe that's what they fear most, that somewhere along the way, in learning to survive, we've forgotten how to be like them. We've tasted the bite of the hunt, felt the thrill of the night, and now they look at us and see something they'll never understand. For in overcoming, we've embraced a truth they've spent their lives running from. The weak cling to who they are, the strong let themselves be torn apart and rebuilt. So here we stand, carved from hardship, tempered in pain. We aren't who we were and will never be again. We've cast off the comforts, the illusions, the softness of innocence. And in its place we carry a fire. The world speaks of tomorrow as if it's owed to us, as if it's some gentle promise waiting to be unwrapped. But tomorrow isn't kind, and it isn't patient. Tomorrow is a beast clawing at the edges of time, demanding sacrifice, demanding blood, sweat, and the fragments of yesterday's self. And here lies the unspoken rule of survival. If yesterday's efforts were soft, then today is just a mockery of resilience, a shadow masquerading as strength. Real strength demands that we push, even when every inch of flesh screams to retreat. It laughs at comfort, taunts the weak, and whispers to the daring that there's only one way forward, through the flames of relentless drive. There are those who say that change is just a decision, an easy shift, something to pick up like a new hobby. But those who know better, those who understand the art of becoming something else entirely, they know that real change is violent. It's a struggle that grinds down the faint-hearted, leaving only those willing to lose who they were for the slightest hope of becoming something greater. Push harder than yesterday, and the world starts to tremble beneath you. It recognizes a force that doesn't wait for permission, a spirit that takes what it wants from the bone and marrow of each day. Because tomorrow only belongs to those who dared to tear today apart. Tomorrow, though, is not an escape. It's not a safe haven, nor a reward waiting to be claimed. It's a brutal reckoning that comes only to those who earn it. Today's struggles, today's pushes and pulls, they are not enough on their own. They demand more than a single act of defiance. To change tomorrow means devouring today until nothing soft remains, until the person standing at day's end barely resembles the one who woke up in the morning. It's the kind of transformation that scorches the soul. It strips away the layers of fear and doubt, leaving only a raw, pulsing core of determination that doesn't know how to quit. There are whispers in the quiet places, murmurs of an easier path, a gentler way to arrive at the gates of tomorrow. But listen carefully and you'll find those whispers are laced with lies. The promise of an easy path is the siren song of the weak, the lure of those who have never tasted true struggle. Pushing harder means defying every comfort, laughing in the face of ease, knowing that the only way to something different is through the chaos. through the relentless grind. Nothing worth having waits at the end of a road paved with softness. Real power lies beyond the edges, where few dare to tread, where yesterday's chains are shattered, and today's sweat is a promise carved in stone. Push harder than yesterday, they say, but do they understand what that means? It's not about a simple effort, a gentle nudge. It's about tearing into every moment with a hunger so fierce it leaves scars on your very being. It's about becoming so relentless, so unforgiving in pursuit of something greater that the world is forced to bend to your will. Those who walk this path are not the ones with soft hands and untroubled minds. They are the wolves in sheep's clothing, the fire hidden beneath layers of cold resolve, the strength that no storm can extinguish. Each time you push beyond the limits of yesterday, you inch closer to the edge of what they call impossible. Every drop of sweat, every gasp of breath, it's a challenge to fate, a slap in the face of those who would keep you bound by yesterday's weaknesses. For those who truly wish to see a different tomorrow, there can be no hesitation, no moment of doubt. Push harder, or let tomorrow belong to someone else. Because those who hesitate are already defeated, chained by the ghosts of their past, incapable of touching the power waiting on the other side of struggle. And yet, for all its promises, tomorrow remains indifferent, cold and unforgiving. It doesn't care who you were yesterday, and it offers no mercy for the weary. Push harder than yesterday, and maybe, just maybe, tomorrow will grant you a sliver of what you seek. But fall short, and it will bury you without a second glance. This is not a game for the faint-hearted, not a quest for the weak. Only those who can look into the abyss and smile will ever know what it means to command tomorrow. And that kind of power, it's not given, it's taken, seized from the very bones of each day, each hour, each breath. Tomorrow is a mirror reflecting back only the strength we forced out of today. And that strength? It's a harsh, relentless creature that thrives in the darkness, feeding off each failure, each defeat, until it becomes something indomitable. Push harder, and this creature awakens, fierce and unyielding, tearing through every boundary, every chain that dared to hold you back. But let up for even a second, and it will lie dormant, leaving you trapped in yesterday's shadow, a mere ghost of what you could have been. For those who are willing, who are relentless enough to see it through, tomorrow holds something more. A challenge, a promise of conquest. But it's a conquest that demands a price, a toll paid in sleepless nights and endless battles. Push harder, and tomorrow becomes not just another day, but a kingdom to be ruled, a domain where the weak are left behind. This is the path carved by those who dared to overcome the chains of their own limitations, who became something beyond what yesterday could ever comprehend. Doubt is a poison, subtle yet unyielding. Left unchecked, it festers, creeping through the mind, eroding resolve until all that's left is a hollow shell haunted by what could have been. But doubt only grows where there is stillness, where ambition lies dormant. Inaction is its breeding ground, feeding it, nurturing it until the weight becomes unbearable. The more we stand idle, the more doubt digs its claws into the soul, whispering its venomous lies. There is no escape in silence, no refuge in waiting. The only antidote is movement, a fierce, relentless stride forward that shakes doubt from its roots and renders it powerless. Clarity is not granted, it's forged. In the heat of motion, as feet pound and hands grasp, the fog begins to lift. Step after step, movement cuts through the haze, slicing away the uncertainty that once seemed insurmountable. Every stride forward, every bold action taken pulls us closer to understanding, to seeing the world not as it wishes to deceive us, but as it truly is. Inaction is a comfort for the weak, for those who would rather sit and ponder than seize their fate by the throat. But for those who crave dominion, clarity waits at the edge of motion, where the mind can no longer hide behind excuses. Fear is the gatekeeper, the one final obstacle that bars the way to growth. It thrives in the absence of momentum, feeding on hesitation, whispering that the unknown is a darkness best left untouched. But sustained action breaks this spell. Fear cowers when faced with the ceaseless push of determination, shrinking as the walls it once erected crumble beneath the force of sheer will. In action, fear loses its hold, revealing its true nature, a mere illusion, a shadow designed to keep the ordinary from ever becoming extraordinary. Those who push through the fear understand that on the other side lies a power the fearful will never taste. Growth is not gentle, nor is it kind. It is a violent upheaval, a tearing apart of what was to make room for what must be. Growth is born in the chaos of shattered beliefs and discarded comforts, in the ashes of the weak self left behind. Only those who defy fear, who march into the unknown with eyes wide open, can taste the bitter but liberating edge of true transformation. Growth does not wait for permission, it demands sacrifice. It is the birthright of those who embrace movement over safety, action over hesitation. A new self waits beyond the wall of fear, but it is not one handed over easily. The journey toward it is a relentless push, a fight that asks for more than just resilience. It demands surrender to the fires of action, to throw oneself forward again and again, until fear has no place left to hide. Each step carves away the old, the weak, and replaces it with something unbreakable, something forged not in comfort, but in struggle. Growth isn't an awakening, it's a relentless forward march, a claiming of territory once held by doubt, now conquered by conviction. Momentum is the silent force, the unyielding drive that crushes all that would stand in the way of ambition. In motion, doubt finds no foothold. Fear has no space to thrive, and weakness is left to die in the dust. This is the language of transformation, a rhythm known only to those who push past the edges of comfort. Momentum doesn't just create clarity. It destroys all that would blur it, all that would weaken the resolve. In momentum lies the key to an unshakable mind, a mind that does not question its path but seizes it with ferocity. The new self is born not of wishful thinking but of unyielding action. It does not emerge in whispers or shadows. It breaks through with the force of a storm, shattering the constraints of the past. Growth is the creature that rises from the ashes of inaction, the being forged in the fires of movement. It's a self that fears nothing, questions nothing, driven by a hunger that the old self could never comprehend. Each step forward is a rejection of what was, a defiance against the chains of doubt, a celebration of strength. Only those who embrace the darkness of uncertainty, who march into it without flinching, understand that growth and fear are two sides of the same coin. To grow is to face fear head-on, to stare it down and move forward regardless. Action isn't just a path to clarity, it's a weapon, a way of ripping apart the barriers that have kept the old self shackled. In sustained action, fear dies, and in its death, the new self emerges, a force unafraid to lay claim to all that lies ahead. Growth, like dominion, demands its price. It asks for the soul to be stripped bare, for every comfort to be sacrificed at the altar of transformation. It asks for the courage to abandon what's known, to embrace the pain of becoming something unrecognizable. Growth is the enemy of comfort and the ally of those who dare to act. It is the path of the bold, of those who choose action over complacency, momentum over stillness. Potential, such a simple word, but one that carries a weight few are willing to bear. To fall short of it is not just a failure, it is an ethical crime, a betrayal of the very core of existence. Each person walks this earth with power buried within, power that the world itself has never seen. And yet, so many choose to live quietly, to exist in the shadows of what they might have been, content to let that potential rot in the prison of comfort and fear. To waste such a gift is a violation of nature itself, a slap in the face of every struggle, every sacrifice made to bring you to this moment. It is nothing short of a crime against the soul. When shadows close in and demons circle, most run, fleeing from the darkness as if it could be escaped. But running only feeds them, only emboldens the demons who thrive on weakness, on hesitation. They are drawn to the scent of fear, the taste of surrender. To flee is to invite them closer, to give them permission to haunt the steps of the faint-hearted forever. But for those who understand the nature of power, there is only one choice: to turn, to face the darkness, and chase the demons back to where they came from. Strength does not bow to shadows. It stands firm, daring the darkness to test its resolve. Confronting one's demons isn't a matter of bravery, it's a matter of survival. Demons exist not to destroy, but to reveal. They test the boundaries of your strength, the depths of your endurance. Every fear, every shadow that rises before you is a mirror, forcing you to look into the darkest corners of your mind. Running from it only cements weakness. Facing it, driving it back, is the act that sets you free. Each step toward the darkness is a challenge, a statement that you will not be broken, that you will not surrender to the forces that whisper of inadequacy and fear. The chase is relentless, a battle fought not in grand gestures but in the quiet places of the mind, where doubt festers and courage is forged. Demons are not defeated with words or wishes. They are chased down, cornered, and forced to submit to a will unbreakable. The world has taught you to fear them, to believe they are insurmountable. But power lies in defiance, in refusing to let shadows dictate your path. For those who dare to turn to hunt their own fears, there is a transformation that occurs. A shift from hunted to hunter, from victim to victor. Running from potential is a coward's game, a cheap surrender to the chains of limitation. To reach for it, to grasp it with both hands, is an act of rebellion against everything that says you're not enough. It's a war fought with every ounce of strength, every shard of will. And when demons rise to challenge that pursuit, there is no room for retreat. Those who understand the depths of potential know that each demon, each shadow, exists as a barrier, a test to separate the strong from the weak. To reach potential is to destroy these barriers, to obliterate anything that dares to stand in the way. The crime of wasted potential stains deeper than any regret. It's a burden carried not just in this life, but in every moment that follows. To waste what lies within is to deny the world a power it might never see again. a force unique to your existence. This is not just a disservice to oneself, it is a betrayal of the very fabric of life. Each unfulfilled dream, each abandoned pursuit is a scar that lingers, a reminder of what could have been. To ignore this calling is to live as a ghost, haunted by what you failed to become. Those who chase their demons understand that power lies not in avoiding fear, but in crushing it. They know that potential demands more than passive hope. It demands a ruthless drive, an unyielding push into the unknown. To meet demons head-on is to signal that nothing will be left on the table, that every shred of potential will be dragged into the light, torn from the clutches of fear. The path to greatness is littered with the corpses of fear, of hesitation, of doubt, all conquered by those who dared to chase their demons instead of letting them linger. Facing down darkness isn't merely an act of courage, it's an obligation, a duty to the self that demands full expression. Each demon chased, each shadow confronted is a step closer to a power that shatters limitation, a strength that knows no chains. The greatest crime is to let that strength die in silence, buried beneath layers of fear and unfulfilled ambition. Those who rise to their potential are those who refuse to be haunted, who hunt down every shadow and turn it into a stepping stone to greatness. Potential waits for no one, and neither do the demons that guard it. They lurk, they haunt, they challenge every step, demanding proof that you are worthy of the power you seek. And those who hesitate, who shy away from the chase, are left with nothing but regrets, haunted by the faces of demons they never had the courage to confront.